Anyway, thanks for being here, guys. We're gonna get started. I don't know if it was the class or if it was the persona of Greg or what attracted you to the to the training, right? I mean, seriously, look at that photo. This is pretty easy to make a cover page for this. So anyway, we're gonna get started. We've got a sponsor for those that are here in person. It's gonna show up towards the end of the hour, and we'll have lunch and we can visit and network. But we were just kind of having an open chat about social media and the pros and the cons and the stupid stuff about it. And it obviously has a place, right? And before you came in, I think I was explaining to Morgan how we met, because you just showed up at my office, remember? And you were dropping off some flyers. And I was like, oh, okay, good. And they were for John and Amber. And I asked you how you met. Yeah. And we didn't really go into the details, but all you said, oh, I met him online. It's like, oh, that's cool. They've been doing a good job. They do a lot of shorts, they do their Instagram, and Amber's really good at just getting them out there. But I didn't realize you didn't actually know each other until I reached out to John and they said, hey, your flyers are here. Greg stopped by and he says, oh my gosh, you actually dropped them off. You actually, you must have told him you were going to do something, then you actually did it. But what I liked about that was you're just networking, you're just reaching out, you're engaging. And I looked at your social media and your posts and stuff after you saw them. Like, who is this guy? But I like that because that's what you do, and you're noticing other people that do it. And now you're here to teach a class on it. And so thanks for being here. I freaking love it. And we are recording this. If you guys want a copy of it to kind of go over again, let me know and I'll get you a copy of your recording. But Greg's going to come up here. He's going to talk about how to use social media to get leads, right? That's what we all want as business. It's more engagement and relationship building there, but it starts with the lead. You got, if you're going to meet people that you don't already know, how are you doing that? And I prefer not to do just cold calls and door knocking and this and that. And our conversation about social media before we got started was how it's so possible for people to really feel like they know you before they actually meet you. And so I'm excited for today's topic. So Greg, come on up, introduce yourself, tell a little bit more about your business, whatever you want to start, and I'll share the screen on Zoom and we'll get started. Okay, come on up. And you got a little clicker here.
Oh, sweet. Thanks. Hi, everybody.
Zoom is so awkward.
I know.
Is it just the next button? The arrow?
Yep. Let me get back to what you can see here. Working. There you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thanks for having me, everybody. I'm excited to do this. I will very much encourage audience participation and questions and interaction. I'm a loan officer. I've been in the business for like 8 years. I've been doing loans by myself for like 6. And I have felt very strongly the need to get on video for a long time, but I resisted just because I didn't want my face on camera. I didn't know what to say. I didn't want to be awkward. It was just a whole new realm that I didn't want to do or explore. And this has been a thought of mine since like 2018, is get on video. Gary Vaynerchuk, for those of you who know, had a show at the time called Ask Gary V. When you'd have people call in and you'd give them advice. So I thought I could do an Ask Greg G show and bring on realtors and appraisers and inspectors. This was back in 2018. And I wish I would have started sooner because I thought it was a good idea. But I was nervous, I was self-conscious, I was shy. What will people think? What will they say? My wife like really pushed me to do it. Like, you need to do this. I resisted. As I found out, my wife is usually right. So I got on video about 1.5 years ago, and here we are on video. And I've met a lot of people through video and through interactions on video. We'll go to next. So first things first, I do not have, you can look at my Instagram. I do not have 100,000 followers. I do not get millions of views on video. So if I can do this, anybody can do this. And that's really what I want to drive home today is like, it doesn't take a lot to get started. Like, I've listened to people talk about social media, give these presentations, and they have 100,000 followers, 200,000 followers. It's like, well, it's easy for you to be on the leads. You have all these people and your videos are getting millions of views. But for me, like, you can look, I have 1,500 followers. Most of my videos get like 2,000 to 7,000 views, which is still more than the followers I have. And so I'm getting exposure to other people. And so that's like really the message that I want to drive home is with what we're gonna go over today, it doesn't take much to get leads and to get attraction on social media. Okay, so why video? Why use video? I know some of you do use video. Why are you using it already?
More of a personal connection than just like a meme or something.
Okay, more of a person, and that's why I resisted for so long. It's 'cause, like, I didn't want to do the memes or the trendy TikTok dance bullshit because it just didn't get any message across. And so, okay, I like that more personalization rather than the memes or other stuff. You got a comment?
I just feel like it lets people get to know who you really are. If you're being who you are.
Yeah, yep,
You know
totally.
what I mean? Not trying to like fake someone else's.
False persona.
that
And
you know.
we were just talking about that. A lot of social media right now has that false persona of people posting their cars or private jets or I have a neighbor. He's a nice guy. He drives a really high-end car. And my brother came over and he said, that's a nice car. It's like, he rents that from a dealership and uses it for social, but driving around and on social, you see him on social media. And it's like,
you make a lot of money.
He's got a business persona that he's trying to keep up on social media. He's a
Yeah.
really nice guy, but it's like, he rents that car. So it's not, so like we were just talking about, a lot of social media right now is trendy and is to make this persona. But if you are being real and legitimate, then people get to know you really well. And that's one thing that I've used it for is a pitch to new clients. Like, look me up on social media, watch some of my videos, and it almost builds an immediate rapport with people better than me just being another person on the phone or whatever.
I've had someone stop me like at a Little Caesars. Hey, I just saw you online. Da, da, da. You-
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, and
That's
that's
a celebrity.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think it's that far, you know.
I will admit, Greg, that reason though also has stopped me. I mean, my own mentality has stopped me from getting on more because I am a real person. I want to be a real person and I struggle with the comparison of people thinking I'm not. Cause I see it all the time. Like when I'm looking at other people and then I find out that that's really not their life, I struggle with that personally.
yeah,
And so I'm like, I don't want people to have that
perception.
of me. And so I worked a lot through it through the years, but it's still a challenge because it's like I am a real person who cares
Yeah.
and really ultimately it matters what's in my heart and what I think, right? But in business, when you're talking about business and promoting your business too, it's anyway, there's people are gonna have perceptions.
Yes, and that's one thing that I've
Right.
exactly, and that's the realization I've had to come to is like, I can't control. There are even a lot of people that I work with in my office who joke and make fun and you're just doing it for the likes or you're just doing it for the follows. It's like, I'm
Isn't that the
closing
point?
deals from social media as well. So like, we all want increased visibility. We all want exposure. We all want leads from social media. And so that's something that I've had to come to terms with. It's like, people are going to think what they're going to think. And I just have to do it for me.
So Greg, I would say to answer your question, why video? For me, it's business messaging. Two, it's validation. If you're in the business and somebody wants to look you up, you know, to your point, you don't necessarily have to have the greatest of everything out there, but if you are on YouTube, and I know you talked about this the other day, you know, there's that search engine advantage as well for that, but it validates to people who want to just, you know, make sure you're real, that, oh yeah, this guy's got a website, this guy has a video, this guy has some presence that looks professional. To me, that's a big part of it.
100%. And like I said, I've met clients, introduction, the first phone call, like, look me up on social media. And it has started to, I'm a lender. And so in my world, and maybe in your world too, but I get shopped on rates and fees a lot. And it has started to decrease that amount of shopping when people know and like me on social media. I know what I'm talking about. I have a presence there. I am a professional. They get to build rapport with me much quicker than normal. And so the shopping has decreased from what I've seen.
And you know, the people that just pound you with non-business related messaging, personal stuff, too much, I should say, too much, or, you know, political, all political, you know, I rarely would want to like unfriend somebody or, you know, not follow them. But if I, and my wife's the same way, you get too much of that, even if it's from somebody that they do have some good stuff, but if they go down that path, no, I'm done with you.
Yeah.
Keep that out of it.
Yeah, and so that's one thing that we'll mention is Instagram specifically, that's what I focus on the most. I share the same posts across many different platforms, but Instagram is where I found my niche for many different reasons. And there's studies that show that keeping your profile at an 80-20 rule, 80% business, realtor, real estate, lending, mortgage, life, and 20% personal, political. But if you keep it to that 80-20, then that helps people engage better when they see your page. If you're just posting about political, then you're not going to get a lot of common ground on the real estate side from clients and whatnot. They don't see what you're actually doing. If you're just posting political or family or dogs or
It's on soapbox.
correct. And so keeping that 80-20 rule, 80% business or market related stuff helps.
So I've heard the 80-20 rule being 80% personal, 20% business, but you would swap it.
I definitely would swap it
Oh, yeah.
because you're trying to set yourself apart as a professional.
Yeah.
And people want to get a peek into your life. And that's where the 20%.
Depends on the point of the channel, right? And
Correct.
or the medium that you're doing. If
Correct.
it is for business.
Yes, if it is for business, I would keep it to 80% business. 70% business. I would do the bulk business and then let people in your real life.
In my opinion, too, Greg, there's a difference on personal too. You can have a section of personal that's event related.
Yep.
So if I'm just gonna say, oh, hey, look what I'm doing today, look what I had for breakfast, that's one way to do it. Another way to do it is, hey, I'm watching the Super Bowl today with my friends. It's an event related kind of thing. You want to get to know a little bit more about Terry Morrison. Hey, my friends, whatever. It's more tied to an event that everybody's aware of.
Yep.
To me, I kind of like that personal sharing better than, hey, look what I had for breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. And that going back to Instagram, and there's many more classes that we could teach on this with the science behind it. But on your feed on Instagram, everybody's familiar with the feed, right? You're scrolling through somebody's and you see all the grids of posts.
Mhm.
That is what you want to keep 80-20. On your story on Instagram, post anything and everything because it disappears in 24 hours. So I post my breakfast, post my lunch, post my dogs, post my kids, post everything, post my view of the mountains on my drive to work on my story. But on my feed, reels, videos, posts, 80-20. That makes sense?
Is there a way that you actually can save your stories on Instagram?
You can have seen those highlights.
Yeah.
I was talking to somebody about that.
You
But
just
you
put it in
don't.
your
But-
highlights.
Yeah, you can put them in your highlights.
Oh,
And so when you're
Gotcha.
looking at your Instagram profile, I just have 2 boxes of highlights and you can just drop your stories down into your highlights.
Do you feel like that's worthwhile? Like, do people go back and look at highlights, or is it like
Do we go back? and-
you? Yeah,
I do. But,
If I'm researching someone's page,
Yep.
I'll go look to get to know them better. I do.
yeah,
Cause it's categorized, right? You make a folder and it's like.
Yep.
yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I've got my kids on there, I've got work life. You
Usually
can,
the most efficient way to search on Instagram. Who wants to scroll for who knows how many minutes? Just have your important stuff in the highlights and it's appropriately labeled. You got your search engine. That's kind of one downfall of Instagram is the searchability, but if they're there.
and you can put your videos in your stories and then drop those into your highlights. And so like, that's a great point, using it for highlight or using it for search engine. But this, we've talked about a number of things. For me personally, video has increased my sphere of influence. My ideal clientele is not only home buyers and refinancers, but it's also agents. It has increased my exposure to different agents. John and Amber, we met on Instagram, started chatting, and
Now you're here.
now we're here. So it has definitely increased my exposure to real estate agents. It's increased my exposure to consumers. We'll talk about this later on throughout, but I have people from my past, different jobs, college, high school, who will comment on specific videos that touch a nerve with them. Hey, I want to do this. What does it look like? And so it's a way to keep your exposure up with your SOI. And it's just another way to engage with different people.
Greg, why is that? Why does that increase? Is it because video does something different than other mediums of communication?
Yes, so the social media platforms are pushing video more than anything else because that's what that's the hottest trend right now.
Yeah, the reels.
Like,
Well, and
how much time do all of us mindlessly just scroll through video after
But
video?
when you say pushing, you mean they're putting it to the top of the search results to make it easier for you to find?
Their algorithm is pushing the video content out
Okay.
to get to more people.
Sure.
Yep.
So, yeah, my question, you mentioned personal No, you mentioned two different categories of your posts. You're engaging with realtors and you're engaging with your clientele for loans and stuff like that. Back to the ratio thing, do you purposely have a ratio of who you're speaking to? Because they're different audiences.
Yeah, so for me personally, most of my stuff is speaking on a consumer level. There is some more market related technical data that real estate agents would understand more. But I think even the consumers would, like I've got a video that we'll see later that talks about interest rates and inflation and CPI. That would resonate with some buyers, and interest rates are coming down supposedly, but that would resonate more with real estate agents. But even a lot of my stuff, I try to keep it like pretty, and we'll see I try to keep it pretty plain Jane, if you will. Real estate investing, tips and tricks on how to buy real estate, and that resonates with both agents and consumers who want to build wealth through real estate. And that's really like what my passion is in my job, is helping people build wealth through real estate. And so that's kind of been my underlying theme of my videos, is how can this help people build wealth through real estate, whether it's getting into your first house, whether it's building a real estate portfolio, whether it's watching the market. That's kind of, I've developed that as my underlying theme, and all my videos kind of fall within that realm. Okay.
Oh, I clicked on it. Time's out.
Okay, so we've kind of touched on this. What is video? We're talking reels, TikTok, YouTube shorts, 15, 30, 60-second clips. We all have a attention deficit. If the video doesn't hook us in the first 3 to 5, 10 seconds, then we're scrolling to the next one. So that 15 to 60-second is your ideal time frame. Instagram as well as TikTok is starting, they've come out with longer form video, up to 3 minutes. But I think you've got to be really good in the beginning to capture the attention to watch all the way through. But most of my stuff is that 30-second give or take window. And like I said, I am pushing everything on Instagram. Instagram is the best medium that I found to be able to build a community and build an audience, because there's the DM factor that works better than Facebook or TikTok. And so that's where I focus.
DM factor.
Direct message.
Oh, they don't have that on Facebook?
They do, but it's just not as, I just have found that it's not as relevant on Facebook or TikTok as it is on Instagram.
Are you a millennial?
Yeah.
No, there's a whole side of us other people on Facebook.
And
we're not millennials.
and this is what works for me.
Yeah.
Find what works for you and do it and exploit it. Facebook Reels is coming on the scene. Instagram and TikTok are the big video mediums right now.
Plus they cross over to each other. If you
They do.
share a reel on Facebook, it goes on to Instagram anyway.
They do. I've just noticed that my engagement is bigger and better on Instagram than it is on Facebook. And so that's where I've decided to push most of my content. And I cross share as well, but I get the most likes, comments, direct messages on Instagram. So that's where I've chosen to build the community.
But that's not to say that your community could be on Facebook.
Correct.
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know that. I mean, I have kind of.
Don't repeat, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I get views in Instagram as well. I just don't think I'm going to just one.
So question, since we're talking about video, why Instagram over YouTube?
Because like
Have you seen that?
YouTube does not have a direct messaging capability.
For the engagement.
For the engagement.
Well, they only have the
Comments. Comments, and I don't get the notification on my YouTube app. I get an email that says you got a new comment. And it's
Built any kind of YouTube thing, and I'm kind of starting to do it. I was gonna do videos and things like that, but can you put things on like your own, like a link tree thing where people can see your information, or like a link for your website?
you can. But again, Instagram and TikTok blew up the scene during COVID.
Yeah.
Instagram is trying to copy what TikTok has done. And they are pushing video much more than anybody else. Facebook is coming on the scene as well. And so again, I found that my engagement, my exposure on Instagram has grown tremendously compared to Facebook. And I have found, like, I can get licensed in all 50 states. I'm licensed in multiple states right now. But I have found for me personally that I have a bigger desire to build a network and a community within Utah. and it's easier to search people within Utah on Instagram than it is on some of the other mediums. On the other mediums, I have many out-of-state followers, engagements, YouTube. If you can't build a community, a local community on YouTube or Facebook as well as you can on Instagram, if that makes sense. But again, that's what I found for me. Jeff, you had a comment?
So, yeah, as far as frequency, is there a sweet spot for frequency, like every day, every other day, once a week? I know once a year probably wouldn't work.
No, the more the merrier. For me, and I'll talk about this later, my social media has, I haven't posted for a while. I'm revamping some of my stuff, but for me, I was posting 2 to 3 times a week. I for a period, I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday morning, 3 times a week. For a period, I was doing Tuesday, Thursday morning for video. And then throughout the week, I was posting stories. I would triple in 1 post or 2 posts a week. Some people post 5 times a week. I just think that the more the merrier is better, but you have to find your sweet spot. And I've even had a lot of people who message me or texted and say, man, I see your stuff all the time. And so it's like, I don't want to wear my video out, but at the same time, like I want to get exposure. And the algorithm, it's so funny that we talk about an algorithm because it's like, what is an algorithm anyway? But the algorithm works based on consistency. So the more consistent you are, it learns your patterns and your methodology, and then it starts to push your content based on how consistently you're doing it. That's well as some other factors.
Though to do it, like with your reels, and I have been bad at it because I'll get sick. Oh, you got so many views. It's a great time to post again.
Yes.
Do I do it? No.
Yeah, I know. We get sucked into the day-to-day.
I'm like, oh, that's great. It's got 1,000 views and all these comments, and I should make another post, but whatever.
You know, Greg, I would challenge the more the merrier, because I do think you can have too many posts, and what happens to people's attention is you start to be desensitized to their posts.
Yeah.
If somebody's pounding me when I'm saying, I just, okay, I think I know what that is, I just go buy it. But if they post one, that's just me personally.
And
That's the problem I have on Facebook. You look at the first 2 things, I already seen this.
Yeah.
Down, and you know, it's the same stuff over and over.
and we'll get to a few slides that kind of highlights the growth factor of video. Facebook is a little different, but on Instagram specifically, I say this with as much love as possible, but my goal on Instagram is to get exposure with other people, not necessarily my following. And so
Yeah, like, how does that work? Where you can get more people that are normally not getting your stuff.
that we'll get into some of that. Okay.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so
But I think the point you're also making is like, you're trying to get exposure, and if there's somebody who doesn't want to see your contact, then they're not, or your content, then they're not for you.
yeah,
Essentially,
Yeah.
they can unfollow.
yeah.
One thing I'll add, sorry, I know you're trying to go on.
No, please.
I just with the consistency thing too, one thing that I'm learning is like, let's just say you guys come out of this training all pumped and want to go do your social media because Greg is awesome. If you go gung ho and like post every single day for 2 weeks and then you just stop, it'll hurt you way more than it will help you. And so like pick a realistic, what works for you. Like if you said a couple times a week works, that will do you better long term, because we're in this for the long game, right?
Yep.
So find something for you that you can commit to long term and not burn out, essentially, because I've done it, I've burned out, and I've gone off social media and I haven't done very much, and it was like starting back over.
Yeah.
But to Terry's point, also like your 12 blocks or 9 to 12 blocks of what you have, those are what people are looking at. So it's got to be effective to what the message you're trying to send to people.
Yeah, and I didn't get into this for this slide, but I'll just say now that during some of my more consistent time, and I'm human, I've struggled with consistency. I got on social media end of 2021, so it's been like a year and a half-ish. And I have, my consistency has gone up and down. But during some of my most consistent periods, I would go film on a Saturday at my office 5 or 6 or 7 videos all in a 2-hour block. And then I'd spend the next couple of days editing and putting them all together. And then I've got a week or 2 weeks worth of posts to do. And then a week later or 2 weeks later, I'd go and film. I'd think of content ideas during that week or 2 weeks, write all the ideas down, script it out, and then go schedule a day or a block in my time to go batch all my content. And so that helps too, especially if you've got content for the next week, then you're not having to come up with something on the fly.
You know, Shane, right?
Yeah.
What you just said and what you just said, that's been one of my biggest, I think, obstacles from me doing it is I've done a lot of video editing on my high school sports for my kids, you know, videos, photos. I just know how much work is involved in it. And so I'm just like, if I jump into this, I know what this is going to take. You know, the YouTube stuff like you've talked about, I just, do I have time to do it? And I usually just run. I'm afraid of it.
Well,
And you know, I know how to do it. I just don't know that I have time to every week. I gotta do this.
And again, I'm not the end all be all. This is what's worked for me. There is a science behind a lot of this that I've been in coaching groups. I still am in coaching groups on social media for real estate professionals. And so like I've studied the science behind it, but this may not work for everybody.
And the tools have gotten a lot better. I would say that they are a lot slicker, easier.
And to your comment, I would almost flip it back on you and say, you have the time not to do it. Like what could be the potential for leads and for buyers that come from doing video? What's the return on investment? And I have hired videographers, I've hired editors. I'm the type of person that like when I start to do something, I want to learn from start to finish. And so I'm editing and filming and scripting all my own stuff right now. But there are people that you can hire out to do all, like there's plenty of places where you can film a video, upload it to their system, they edit it and send it back to you and post it. And
What was that outfit that Cyberbacker, the one lady hired them to do all that for, right?
Real something.
Well, it was Cyberbacker, but you know, her name's escaping me. You know, he's on an investor panel with me,
Oh, Mealy. Yeah.
Mealy hired Cyberbacker, I think, to do all that.
To do all that.
yeah, and there's plenty of companies and even post it for you. Is there a question on the Zoom?
Oh, I was just gonna say that what I kind of do and that kind of works for me because I'm a mom and it's busy and it's kind of insane is I actually plan out everything the month before. So I take the last 2 weeks of every month and plan the whole month out and get all of my posts scheduled. I think it's on the Meta Business Suite for Facebook and it will post on Instagram and Facebook. So I'll get everything a month out for just the posts. And then for the video, I will actually do that during the week. So I have certain videos that I will edit and post during the week. So the only thing I need to focus on is just the video and not anything else.
Yeah,
so
I like that. And like at the end of the day, you've got to find a system and a medium that works best for you. And like I'm here because the exposure that social media has given me to clients and to agents who are all clients of mine. And so that's what I'm passionate about, helping people develop and live their dream lives. And like that's what I want to do. Part of my passion is helping other people. So that's why I'm here. But take what I'm saying and mold it to what works for you. And I'm not my life's crazy. And so like my schedule wouldn't work for everybody else, nor would your schedule work for me. So
this isn't a Be Like Gregg class.
No.
Greg, when I worked at this company, we had a couple of services that we used, and again, the company provided this where we had a subscription to them, and it was kind of what you just said, where we could go out and grab all of our content. It could be, and this was mostly LinkedIn focused, right? And it was you grab articles, different things, videos, whatever you wanted to post, and you literally, so like what you just said, Shannon, you would say, okay, I want to post this one on Tuesday of next week. In 2 weeks, I want to post this one, and you could literally take about 10 minutes. Do a month long, maybe 10 different things you post and just spread them out, you know, 8 in the morning, 5 at night, and you go click and it did it and you don't worry about it.
Yep.
Is there any service like that for this side of the business?
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
Okay.
And again, I'm a control freak. I want to learn the start to finish, the nuances and the details behind everything. And so right now I'm bogging myself down trying to do everything, but that's how I work. I want to know everything and know how to do everything. So like at some point I will start to farm it out to different professionals, but for right now, again, this is what works for me. So we are the professionals. Yeah.
I was gonna say, just another side note, like I watch Gregg's videos and I get so overwhelmed, like, how do I make mine as good as his? And so I just started doing them, and like I don't put much editing into them. Sometimes the lighting isn't super great. I just write my script real quick, I film the video and I post it. just to start, you know, because I would get so hung up on, well, he's got his logo on it, and he's got the music in the background and perfect lighting, and so I think there's also a point, or
How many
Just
views have you gotten on your most recent videos that you've been posting, you know?
no. I should look,
She doesn't wanna know.
No,
I should look,
but I know that you cold call a lot.
yes.
So like how many dials are you gonna make in an hour?
So
50?
on my last, well, yeah, on my last reel, I got 310 views.
Okay, how many dials can you make in an hour?
Not that,
50?
not that, yeah,
Okay, so like that's the exposure factor,
yeah,
is you're leveraging your time with way more
yeah,
views on a video than what you can knock or cold call
Right.
or see in person. And we complain about, like I said, most of my views are 2,000 to 7,000 per video. I look at other people who are getting 100,000 views, and it's like
I now want to see one of these.
his
one of
videos are.
100,000.
I want to see one of your
Oh,
videos.
we're gonna get into some videos, but
I'm like,
like
what are you talking about?
sometimes I get jealous, like I don't have the views that they have, but I could not handle an influx of 2,000 clients, nor could any of us. And so it's like, who gives a shit how many views we're getting? Could you handle 300 clients all at the same time?
No,
you
300
couldn't.
views is,
And so
Good
like,
for me.
and not all those views are gonna convert into buyers, but to put it into perspective, like I've got a video that got 15,000 views. That's like the Utah Jazz Stadium.
But that's the point, right? Like the point is to get to buyers.
Yeah.
The more views you get.
Yes,
So it's-
yes, that's the number again. Yep, so you're leveraging one video, 15,000 people, one video, 300 people, like you're just leveraging your time better.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna cruise through some of this so we can get into the videos. We are the professionals, we know the market. We have to give people the goods, but we can't be this guy. And just throw up all the data. We have to give it to them in a structured format, in a way that makes sense for them to consume it. And so, okay, what is this? Does everybody recognize this?
On iPod.
This is an iPod. What was it?
It's the
Music storage.
It was a music storage, okay? World's first digital media player. Maybe not the first. How did Apple brand it? What did they describe it as?
Like so many thousand.
1,000 songs in your pocket.
Mhm.
When you think about a music player, like who needs a music player? I have a CD player. But when you say 1,000 songs, I don't have to carry around 100 CDs. I have 1,000 songs in my pocket. And so this is what we need to do with our videos, is brand it in a way that gets people's attention. Okay, so how do you do that? First, you have to have a hook. Okay, and so this is how you're going to, well, before we get into that, this is something screenshot, take a video of. This is like how you phrase your videos or how you start your videos. Here's how you can achievement, even if you, and then highlight a common issue. So here's how you can buy a house, even if you have no money. Here's how you can invest in real estate, even if you don't have a trust fund or an inheritance. Here's how you can get the girl to the prom, even if you're 5'2". Here's how you, like, you can frame it 1,000 different ways, okay? And this is like the hook of all hooks. Okay.
4'10".
So this is how you're going to structure your video,
even if you can't,
even if you
Common
common
issue.
issue. So, and the achievement and the common issue, you can swap out for a million different things. Here's how you can drive a Ferrari, even if you have no money. You rent it from a
you rent it from the dealer.
dealer. Okay, so this is how you're gonna structure your videos. You're going to open up with a hook. You're going to present the problem, and then you're gonna present the solution. Okay? So here's basic structure. Hook, here's how you can build a real estate portfolio with little money. Problem, most people think you need large amounts of money to buy real estate or to build a real estate portfolio. Do this instead, and then explain how you do it. Here's how you can build a real estate portfolio with little money.
See, the problem is to buy investment properties, you have to have a large.
Sorry.
But when you buy your first primary residence, you're only required to 3 to 5% down.
Sorry, guys, could you hear that video? I didn't share the audio. Share. I think I'm out. Go back.
We could hear it okay online.
I could hear it.
In that house for 12.
It's a catchy picture in the back.
There's a science behind this, and it feels like,
That's your aunt.
that's my
sorry, that's your and, like, you have a thing for Nike shoes,
Yes,
right?
yes,
So yeah, it's
yes.
tells a little bit about yourself.
Yes, exactly. And I was talking to you a couple weeks ago, like, there's a science behind it. It feels like marketing is kind of, I wouldn't say scammy, but it is kind of schemy. There's a scheme to like marketing and gaining attention,
You're brainwashing people, basically.
basically.
Good.
But really good.
I know,
And
but
there's,
it's just, that's what it is. That's why I
Yes.
don't watch people, like, it's like I'm being brainwashed.
yes, but yeah, the video, I've had a ton of feedback about that picture. It can keep attention. Okay, so let's go.
Here's how you can build a real estate portfolio with little money out of pocket each time. See, the problem is most people think to buy investment properties, you have to have a large down payment each time. But when you buy your first primary residence, you're only required to put 3 to 5% down. You live in that house for a 12-month period, after which you can buy a new primary residence with only a 5% down payment and turn your old house into an investment property. You can repeat this once per year, every single year, until you build up the portfolio that you want with only a small down payment each time.
Does that make sense? So follow that structure, and not every video follows this structure, but this is how you're going to get the viewership and the engagement. Here's the hook. You present a problem. I thought you had to live in it for 2 years. When you're buying a primary residence, you're only agreeing to live in it for 12 months. The 2-year thing comes in the form of capital gains, is maybe what you're thinking about. But when you are only agreeing to live in it for 12 months. And if you're then turning it into rental, then you'll have to deal with capital gains down the road. Does that make sense?
Do you have to, in that investment property, I know you're not training on this right now, sorry. But in that investment property, you lived in that for then 2 months and then move back to your old house?
2 years and then move back?
Sure.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so the capital gains thing is 2 out of the last 5 years, you had to have occupied it for primary residence.
But
So,
you can live in both of those houses for 2 of the last 5 years, is that?
But you can only take the exemption once every 2 years. So you could be stacking them like that, and every 2 years you can take that exemption.
Okay. Thank you.
okay,
Here's how you can build a
so here's an example of a different video that highlights basically the same point, but it's from the perspective of me. This is what I wish I would have done, which is getting, like, this is what people want. They want the real vulnerability, like, they love the vulnerability. They love it when people share their personal experiences. So this is another video.
Here's what I would have done if I could go back in time and start my real estate journey all over again. By the time my wife and I bought our first house, we already had 1 baby, 1 on the way, and 2 dogs. So that kind of necessitated that we buy a certain house with a yard and something that we could grow into easily. But what I wish we would have done was buy a small condo earlier on, lived in it for a year or 2, and then turned it into a rental, upgraded to a townhouse, lived there for a year or 2, and so on and so forth. Every 1 or 2 years, lived in a smaller house and built up a real estate portfolio over 5 or 6 or 7 years. By the time we're now into our somewhat forever home, we would have had 5 or 6 rental properties under our belt.
And so that one shares basically the same message in a different format. I'm sharing my personal experience, which is what people love right now.
Are you, maybe this is like totally not what you're gonna talk about, but the text, like your captions, are you gonna go into how you do those at all?
No, this is kind of like a 10,000 foot overview of video. The text and the captions is part of the editing.
Okay.
Which is like, I could do
A
2
lot
or
of
3.
them have it already, like.
It's just the
that's
way
if we
he
can-
had his.
Yeah.
Like you're speaking and then the words come.
Yeah,
out.
you can auto generate captions, on-screen captions through Instagram. This kind of more niche-y
His were fancy.
stuff, and you can make them pop in different sizes, different colors, like that's all part of a different editing software. I do a lot of my stuff in CapCut, which is a free app.
Yeah.
There is a science to being in CapCut and learning it, but
Does that do your little zooming? in and
yes,
out thing?
yes. And that's all part of the science that goes into the actual video itself. You want to chop things up and make it a little,
Like
you
something
want to change
start-
the angles, start, restart, zoom in, zoom out, because we have an attention deficit. And if you're changing the video like that or popping the captions, then it like keeps people engaged.
Mhm.
It's so silly when you talk about like the behind the scenes type stuff, but it's part of the science.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are taking niche topics and trying to give them broad appeal. Nobody wants to know about interest rates. Nobody wants to know about mortgage insurance. Nobody wants to know about wealth building per se. So we're taking these really niche topics and giving them broad appeal by the way that we're presenting, okay? And so, topics that work are, like, you guys probably have a list of 50 topics right off the top of your heads, based on what clients have asked you, based on what they, based on problems they've come to you with, based on problems that you've seen during the loan process or the buying process, relevant news, when our interest rates going to come down, success stories of you guys personally or your clients, like the video that we just watched. Like, share your success stories or your mistake stories from your own personal experience or from your clients' experiences. I know John and Amber just had a closing. You guys sold and then bought. Like, that would be a perfect. I'm sure he rolled some equity from one house into another, got into a bigger house. That's a perfect. Here's how my client turned a $12,000 first-time home buyer down payment into $100,000. Moved into this small condo, lived there for a couple of years, sold it a couple years later, and made $100,000 and rolled it into a. So it's like really easy stuff that we encounter every single day can turn into videos.
I hadn't thought about that. I just had a double closing. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah. Here's how my client turned X into Y.
Greg, do you find the technique of, like, if you know you're gonna be posting a lot and people expect you to be posting, that you're tying those posts together? For example, let's say you've got a bunch of stuff you might be able to share, but you don't want to share it all at one time. Maybe it's longer than 60 seconds. You do a short one. On my next video, at the end, you say, on my next video, I'm going to talk about, and then a week later, you post another one, and maybe you do a quick recap. Last week, I said, yes, now let me tell you about this. Can you screen? Is that a good?
Yeah. And I have said, I have
1, 2, 3, 4.
I have a video that we'll watch that says follow for part 2.
Mhm.
So yes, I think that's a totally good idea, is to keep the video short and just do a follow for part 2. It keeps people on
Next week's episode.
Yes. It's really schemy, but it works.
It frustrates me, and you can't see 2 right up immediately, and I'm like, forget it.
I know. And I watched those videos where it's like, I'm gonna tell you this.
I'm invested in part 1,
and you
go
get
to part
lost.
2.
Yes.
Even there, you're like,
Yeah.
okay, you're out.
And so, like, that's part of the engagement factor, is like, you have to be real and authentic. You have to give them the goods. If you say you're gonna do something, you have to do it. Otherwise, people will say, well, she's full of shit, so I'm just gonna keep scrolling. Keeping on with relevant, like, where are you getting this information? Keeping Current Matters, like, I'm sure everybody follows them on Instagram and Facebook. Housing Wire, for those of you that don't, it's a news publication. You can subscribe to it. They'll send you an email every morning with like 5 or 6 relevant topics. You have to subscribe to it. It's a monthly fee to get the full article, but you'll see later that I've taken on my phone, take a screenshot of the headline of the article and then do a green screen video talking about the article. And so this is an email that I get every morning with 5 or 6 relevant real estate topics.
But you don't pay for the subscription.
I don't pay for the subscription, so I can't read the full article, but I just screenshot the headline of the article and do a video on it. Answer the public, Google Trends, you can type in Google Trends real estate and it gives you a list of things that
You mean
people
the
are.
article behind your head and you're just levitating?
Yep.
that thing?
Yep, that's called green screen. It's an effect in
Okay.
Instagram and TikTok. You'll see one of those. Okay, so part of the reason I resisted video is because I didn't see a lot of infotainment. I saw a lot of dancing, TikTok-y, trendy stuff, and I just didn't. That's not me. I don't have jokes. I can't dance. I'm not gonna make myself look like an ass on video. And I just didn't know how to present my message.
Why not? A lot of people might watch that.
They might. I wouldn't watch it if it was me. So I wanted to find a way that was authentic to me to get my message across. Some of the easy ways to do this is home tours. What does X get you? What does 500,000 in Saratoga Springs get you? Highlight a house, walk through it. How much is a payment on 500,000? And then go over real numbers on a deal. Morgan, my client just sold their first house, got into their dream house, and here's what their maybe not down payment was or whatever, but here's real numbers on a deal.
Right.
Just to give some exposure. This is a video home tour that agent that I work with did on a home recently.
Would you use CapCut to do something like that?
Yeah.
Speed it up?
I would, and you can buy, it's called a gimbal. You put your phone on it and it steadies the phone and you can zoom and pan and it's like $100 on Amazon. But simple video just highlights a house in Mapleton, Utah. You got 2,500 views on it. So if we're sitting in our office twiddling our thumbs, should I make a couple dial? Like you can just go drive through a community and
I should have done it for my last investment remodel.
I have a question,
Trivia.
Jolynn. I just went to the, what's it called, the caravan, and they were talking about how we are not supposed to do these videos unless it's our listing.
No, you can get rid of.
Did I mishear them, or what are the rules on that?
being told that you just need permission from the listing agent or from the owner or.
Yeah, you have to have in writing from the listing agent and the homeowner. So we can't just drive around and find a house and schedule to go in and record this. I mean, this.
Okay, I retract that statement then. But you all have your own listings that you could probably highlight.
You can still do that, you just have to get permission.
Yeah, you
It's
just
not that
schedule a
hard.
showing.
It's not that hard to message the agent and just say, hey, can I highlight your video on my Instagram?
Yeah.
With
And then,
it's
but
pretty
you have to
simple,
have
yeah.
it from the homeowner as well. So do you, I mean, I'm not
I just
questioning.
get it
this
from the listing
method, I'm just
agent.
saying, I don't know. I was just trying to understand the real law or, the rules around it.
Another thing, I mean, Greg and I have gone to model homes because those you can walk through without an appointment. They're staged really well, so they're pretty for your social media. And those are really easy, you just drop in. So that's always an option too.
And then
And-
one more question. I wish I was there with you guys today because this is interesting to me. But one question I've really been hesitant about getting into the social media because we've sort of stayed away from it a little bit. But I'm gonna have to do this. But what kind of equipment? Do you guys do these videos with your phones? What do you buy cameras? What do you do?
So I will get to some of the equipment a little later, but you can see my Instagram. Most of my stuff is like a talking head style. And I can't even tell the difference on the videos that we filmed with a real camera versus my iPhone. And so like, I have an equipment slide, but it's really easy. This is a mic that you can find on Amazon for like $20, plugs into your phone and you can clip it onto your person.
It's right into your Google.
You've got stands that you can get. This one has a Bluetooth connector, so you can just prop it up on your desk, click the button and it starts to play your phone, starts to record the video. But most of this stuff you can do with just your phone and a simple microphone. So I wouldn't say go out and buy a ton of equipment. Most of it, like I know this agent went through and filmed with his phone on a gimbal similar to this. You can find this on Amazon for $100, give or take. So going on with some more, this is a video that I posted. As far this next little series is just to highlight some ideas, some relevant things. If you don't want to get on camera and talk, if you're resisting that like I was, that's totally fine. There are other ways of posting videos that get engagement. So this is a video that I did. And again, this is in a model home of a builder. I took a video and I just put text on top, which is a really trendy style to do videos right now, text over video. And the video itself is like 5 seconds long. And then you just go and pull, you can just rip this video off of me completely, like just feel those numbers. And this is a comparison between 2021 versus 2023. If you were to buy back then versus now, highlighting the difference in home price versus higher rate this year. And to be fair, I probably should have done like a 420 list price in 2023 because we've appreciated it a little bit, but anyway, you can change it to whatever style you want. And you can see that video had 7,800 views. It touched 6,800 accounts. And more important than that, you can see that 61 people shared this video and 19 people saved it. And so that's what you want, is people to share it and save it to come back to later.
Well, it's wild. Plus 6,100 were non-followers.
Exactly. And that's 6,100 people out of that 6,800,
People are on your Instagram page though.
1,400, 1,500.
Oh, yeah, okay, so I can do that.
Yeah, exactly,
1,000,
exactly,
okay.
exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
That's why you said at the beginning,
So
like
it's
it's more
they're so
relatable.
short. Okay.
Yes, and that's part of the science that goes into it. You keep these ones short because people have to then rewatch it. And so that boosts some of your views. The more views you get on it, the more the algorithm pushes it out to other people. And so there's some manipulation going on behind the scenes with the video itself to get it to more people, to get more exposure. But of those 6,800, 6,100 non-followers viewed it.
Is there relevance to how much of a video they watch versus that they just saw it? You know, like if it was a minute long, they only watched the 5 seconds versus this one's 5 seconds and they watched the whole thing.
Yeah, so if there is a way for the algorithm in Instagram, the robot, to tell whether they finished the video or not, and that affects your performance in the algorithm. And so keeping it to 5, 10, 15 seconds, there's more likelihood for them to finish it than. So like I used to have an ending on all of my videos where my company logo would come in and it had my name and contact information. I did away with that because I think a lot of people got used to seeing that ending, the video's over, and so they just scroll, but they're not finishing the whole video. So there is some manipulation going on behind the scenes.
So I'm confused. You put this up for 5 seconds. And they look at it, then what?
But then when it stops on that, right? So that that's still present.
Yeah, it stops on that, but how do they know you?
This is just one of the styles of video that I'm mixing into everything. And so like, there's not a way to tell per video how many followers I got, how many comments I got, how much engagement I got, but it's an overall thing, like the video program in general, pushing video, pushing information, pushing, is getting likes and follows and
I know,
people
but
commenting.
How are they gonna know that? How are they gonna contact you?
So when you see this on Instagram, there's gonna be my name and
Okay,
everything.
so
They
you're
can
gonna
click on my, yes.
Because when you said it was 5 seconds, I mean, I just saw that, I didn't see.
So I'll just pull up my Instagram and search for, this is a reel that I've done. So you've got my name,
Okay,
a caption there, they can interact.
all right,
with
so
it.
that video that you have, that's down at the bottom or whatever.
Correct. I just cut it off for this purpose.
Yeah, because that, like, how you see these nonsense videos where you think you're gonna see something, you don't see anything, they get ticked off.
Yeah, no, there's ways to engage. No, sorry.
He was
So-
getting ticked off.
This is another video that I did highlighting different information. So I just pulled these 5 cities, regions, and pulled median home price in 2012, median home price in 2022. Took me like 30 minutes to compile the data and just highlight the difference between them. And again, like a 5-6 second video.
Sitting there drawing paper.
Yeah, yes, the text over video is really popular and you're highlighting information that's relevant to people. And this gets people thinking like, well, what will home prices be in 2032? If this is what we've seen in the last 10 years, like what will the next 10 years look like? And so just more
It's
ways.
not actually intrusive where you're doing something.
Exactly,
It's so subtle.
exactly.
Which is catchy in its own way.
And the music on top of it helps promote engagement and it's not just a blank video. And again, on this video, 3,600 views, 3,400 people viewed it. Of those 3,400, almost 2,800 were people that didn't follow me. And again, 9 shares, 15 saves. So this is information that people are gravitating towards, that they need it, they want it. One more example. This is first time buyer. And
That's pretty cool.
purchase price, this is what your minimum down payment is. And again, 1,700 plays, 1,500 people saw it. Of those 1,500, 900 were non-followers to me. And once again, 11 shares and 8 saves. And that's what you want, is it to spread.
So I think overall, and you may cover this, but you're essentially asking or answering questions people have in their mind. And so, because Google's the #1 search engine and all that kind of filters down from there. And so if they're on here and they may have a question like this may pop up due to the integration of all the algorithms. So you're answering the question for them, providing value. This just isn't like, I bought 3 cats in 2012, just useless information. So you're being intentional as far as what you're posting and things like that, and you're coming at it from a consumer perspective.
Yes, and that goes back to giving them the goods. People want the information. This next video that we're gonna watch, I tell people how to calculate their own debt to income ratio. In my position, people can't get a mortgage loan without me. And so I can give them all the information that I want, and they still have to use me. In your position, it's a little different. They can sell their home without you. But I've seen many agents say, do you need do a video about, do you need an agent? Here's all the pros, here's all the cons. And so when you're giving them that vulnerable information, that like the goods, people gravitate towards that, and you're being real and authentic. And I would use an agent who says you don't necessarily need an agent to sell or buy a home, because they said you don't need me, but here's what I will do for you, type thing. So yes, I'm giving them the goods.
Have you ever wondered how much you could qualify for? This breakdown will actually show you. Take your total annual income divided by 12. This is your monthly income. You're gonna times that number by 0.43, which is the maximum debt to income ratio that lenders will go off of. That number will give you your total monthly allowable debts. From there, you're gonna subtract all of your current monthly debts. Car payments, student loans, monthly payments on credit cards only. That final number is going to give you your maximum monthly mortgage payment that you could qualify for. Follow for part 2.
So in part 2, I did a real life scenario. This borrower makes $120,000 a year, $10,000 a month. He's got a $500 car payment, $500 credit card payment. This is what he could buy. And then you could easily spin off that video. If you qualify for a $3,400 mortgage payment, this $500,000 house, probably not, or 50, 400 is what you could afford. And then go and highlight the house in that price range. So this video in particular, if you look down to here, this is when I posted it the first time. 1,300 plays, accounts reached. I don't know why they're different. Almost 14,000 accounts reached. Of those 14,000 accounts, 13,000 were not following me. And again, you've got 21 shares and 25 saves.
Is anyone DMing you?
Yes, and I've got a screen that shows some of the DMs. So I don't really go.
The buildup.
So I posted this, and then like 2 months later, I changed the captions to what you just saw. Posted it. Oh, I'm so sorry. Posted it.
That was meant for me.
I posted it again. No. The second time I posted it, I got 7,000 accounts reached. And then you've got 56 shares, 96 saves. I also paid.
So you reposted it?
Yep, the same exact video, just changed the captions. A couple months later, posted the same exact video. So So on the 2 posts, I got nearly 20,000 views on it. And then I also paid for this video to be advertised.
Okay.
On the advertisement, I got 1,000 views.
Oh, interesting.
So you can see like organic content is what the algorithm is pushing. I did pay for it, but on the 2 times that I posted it and didn't pay for it, I got 20 times the engagement.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the green screen that we talked about, just relevant news articles. It's a button you go to Instagram, go to take a video. It's a filter, green screen, and then you can choose from your photos, which I have dogs. There's an article that says 1 big reason millennials are buying homes is for their dogs. People that know me know that I have dogs. That's important to me. We bought a house for dogs, basically. And so that was relevant to me. I'm not getting near the engagement on some of these that I do on others, but KSL put out an article last fall, housing market correction won't fix Utah housing shortage. That's relevant for all of us. Do a little video, a little blurb on it. And so that's just more ideas of content. We all come across articles every single day. We can screenshot those and do a green screen video.
Greg, do you have a feel for how, what your efficiency rate is on this? So when new customers come to you or you ask them, hey, how'd you hear about me? How do you know how this social media presence is driving new business for you?
That's a good question. I am asking people, some people do find me through social media. I have DMs from people asking questions or engaging with me.
So on those, you know, because
on those I know
with them because then you're saying, look, you came from there. Right?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of.
Otherwise, you just have to ask.
Yep, I'm getting lots of new followers, you'd be surprised the number of agents that I don't work with who share these videos to their networks. And then I'm just exposing myself to different
To their networks.
networks.
But if you had to guess it, so I mean, what do you think? I mean,
In the last, well, in a year and a half, I've probably closed. And the market's weird right now, like, there's a lot of demand, a lot of activity, but not a lot of like actual happenings. But in the last year, I've closed probably 3 or 4 deals from social media. And I have several leads that are in my pipeline wanting to do something, just trying to make sense of where to go.
3 to 4 deals a year for a realtor. I mean, that's like a good addition to the business you're already doing.
And we all have networks, and I know I was a little worried that I wasn't gonna take enough time, and now
I was thinking that same thing, burned up an hour.
And I guarantee we could all like post from here on out for the next month and probably engage with a number of people that already know, like, and trust you. That, and it's just a reminder, oh, she is in real estate. And if you put out something that hits them just right, then it's a trigger point.
You know what I would suggest too is the fact that you do this kind of stuff for yourself, it sharpens your game, because in order to do this, you have to do your homework.
Yes.
You have to be up on your topics, you put yourself out on video, and go through that exercise makes you, I think, smarter and sharper.
Agreed.
Yes, yes. And then people come to my page, they see those 9 posts right off the bat, click on a couple of them, it's like, okay, he knows his stuff.
Oh, cause you highlighted it?
No, but like if you pull up somebody's Instagram page, you see their whatever, first
Okay.
3 or 6 or whatever. So this is my account from basically the beginning of the year until now. You can see Reels has had almost 25,000 views on my reel. And I'll be completely honest, my last post on Instagram was March 1st. Because I'm kind of revamping some things. I've got some transitions happening in my own life. And so it's kind of taking a back seat.
What did you say? I didn't hear that.
Revamping some of my content. I've got some transitions going on in my life
He
that.
hasn't posted.
He's just saying he hasn't posted lately.
Oh, that's
Nonsense.
Yeah, I haven't posted March 1st. And so this is January 17th to basically March 1st. My reels touched 25,000 people. And you can see the disparity. And this dark blue line, if you can see it, is my followers. The rest is non-followers. And you can see the disparity between
Oh,
the
okay.
viewership that I'm getting on
So
my
the blue
reels.
doesn't represent 24,000.
That's huge.
It just
Correct.
represents, oh,
Correct. Stories, posts. So you can see reels is like my top, and it would be for everybody is the
Greg,
top.
is that a common model, or is that unique to you, or?
That following this outline program, that could be very common. Reels is getting the exposure right now.
Did that surprise you when you saw those stats? Or is that what you?
Yes and no. It's kind of what I expected, but the numbers are like, that's huge. 25,000 people
That's a lot.
fills up more than the Jazz Arena,
Right.
whatever they're calling it.
I've heard that the reels are to get new engagement and
Correct.
stories are to feed people that are already following.
Correct, correct.
hmm.
So post whatever you want on your stories, your reels,
Because they're already following.
your feed, reels and posts and videos should be that 80-20.
So reels and feed are synonymous, those do mean the same.
No, reels are the short form videos that we've been talking about,
Okay.
and that's what goes into your
This
feed.
is your feed. So that's your feed.
Okay, I'm gonna cruise through a couple more slides here. So this is the same thing. This is from March 1st to the end of, this is the month of March, and I didn't post except one time in March. And you can see that I didn't post, I didn't do anything in March, and I still got, what is that, 2,700 views. And most of that is non-followers. And so this is talking about ROI, this is producing while you're sleeping. People are viewing and consuming this while you're not on the phones, while you're not knocking doors.
That's the American dream.
That's a freaking dream. Get paid while you're sleeping. And again, this is for you guys to take nuggets and apply to your own life. This is just one pillar of my business model and how I engage with my clients and customers. Social, and this is all stuff that I'm doing on my own. It's of no cost to me other than time investment. These are some of the engagement that I've gotten. This one in the bottom right-hand corner is a completely random. She commented on one of my videos. I want to do this. It was the video about building up real estate with a small down payment. I want to do this in Florida. We hooked her up with somebody who's in Florida, and they're running numbers right now. She said, my lender said I couldn't do it, yada, yada, yada. But you can see comments. This is just some of the comments that I get, DMs that I get on people engaging, saying, this was one that I said, you can buy with 5% down property after property. This guy, Jen Send in the bottom, just bought a house last year. He said, are there any requirements on your current house before you can buy another one? So it's connecting, it's striking a chord with people based on certain topics, okay? These are some scripts for agents that I came up with on the fly. You can take pictures, try and cruise through the end of this. Eating into lunchtime, sorry. But with that, with what you took a picture of in the beginning, like you can mold that to 100 different scripts. Here's another one. Top 3 ways to maximize profits when you sell, present the problem, solution. It's kind of similar to the first one. Here's some of the equipment that you need to think about: lighting, mics, we've already touched on it, camera, audio. If you do a video and then slap trending music onto it, it helps the whole engagement factor. I had a ton of fears, like we could get into this, probably we're also eating into time. This is an engagement that I had with somebody. I posted a video and said, the video said stocks or real estate, what do you prefer? I prefer real estate, and I gave him a list of reasons why. He commented and said stocks don't have a monthly payment, yada yada yada, besides not to mention taxes and insurance. And he said, what a joke.
Oh, yeah, oh, that's.
So I responded back to him. And I said, but you're paying to live somewhere anyway. And if it's an investment property, then your tenants are paying for your payment, making your payment.
Yep.
He responds and said, I get it. Historical stock average 10%, compounds every 7 to 8 years, yada, yada, yada. And I said, I love that, dude. Like, if you want stocks, great. Go after whatever investment you want. He ends by saying, you win the internet. Thanks for the good vibes.
You win the internet.
So it's like, I had a ton of fears that I was going to get called out. People were going to make fun of me. Engage with them.
It's because you're not
kindly.
combative.
Yes, exactly. My passion in life is for everybody to win. I have a dream life in my head that I've imagined. I want to achieve it. I want you to achieve yours, you too, everybody. Like, that's part of what drives me. If this guy likes stocks, go for it. And he's a raving fan now, probably. So like, the fears subside once you get into it, once you start doing it. Any questions? I know we've gone over a lot.
We already asked a lot of questions.
We could probably do another 2 or 3 videos on like the science behind the actual video, but so that's that.
One thing that I have, it's really cool, is they give you all this data. So if you're doing 80% business, 20% personal, and you're not getting good engagement as far as you aren't reaching new, they go 50-50.
Yeah.
Or completely flip it where you're doing the opposite, and then you just track those metrics, and then you can, I mean, they're giving you the data, which is super. helpful.
Yeah, and if you follow that script, then it helps with the viewership. There's a lot of people who get on video and say, hi, this is Greg with First Calling Mortgage. Like, I'm going to scroll past. A lot of people are going to scroll past that. But if you give them a hook right off the bat, then you're more likely to keep their attention. And then they can get to know who Greg is with First Calling Mortgage once they click on your profile and see a video or 2.
So that leads me to a question. I've been starting my latest videos with, hey, this is a Morgan with a luxuriant real estate group. You drop that.
I would.
Because then at the end, I say, again, this is Morgan with a luxuriant real estate group.
And I wouldn't even say that either. I never introduced myself on video.
Cool.
Don't need to. It's
Don't
in your
need to.
profile. Right.
They're not getting past this is Morgan.
Yep.
Right.
Because they're on your page, they know it's you, so you.
Yeah.
And if they want to know, if you can go to your Instagram Explore page and there are reels that you can go through. They're not going to know who I am, but if they want to know who I am, they're going to click on my profile and then see my bio.
So you're saying, don't put that introduction in your.
Correct, because the likelihood,
Wasting time.
yep, and you're not hooking the viewer in right away.
You're selling them on yourself, not who you work for, or some
Correct.
inanimate object.
Correct. Thank you, guys. We appreciate it.
Hey, guys on Zoom, stick around just for 1 minute. We have a sponsor that's here in person in our office. When I say sponsor, he's bought us lunch. We're gonna stick around and network a little bit more. Dan Lewis, come on up. Dan Lewis is with Majestic Home Warranty. We had a good chat on the phone. New relationship for me, recommended by Rondi at Fidelity National Title. So you're up. I'm gonna switch the slide. I actually made a little slide for you so people could connect with you. Super. I did that myself. Yeah. The moves is a lot better than my profile picture. Right. So I had it on there and then I took it. No. My profile picture is a picture behind me. I mean, is what it is. You know, I did put that one on the registration. Yeah. I don't know if you saw that. So, yeah. Guys, my name is Dan Lewis. Like Jeff said, I actually own Majestic Home Warranty. I started this company about 3.5 years ago, just in time for COVID to say good luck. So I figure I've made it this far, you know, we must be doing something right, so. Couple things about Majestic. Well, let me introduce myself a little bit. I've actually been in the real estate industry since 2005. Prior to that, I was a journeyman electrician doing service calls for home warranty companies, so I kind of know both sides of the world there. About 5 years ago, I got asked to rep for another home warranty company and open that up in the Salt Lake area. And after a couple of years, you know, the level of customer service that I was promising my clients wasn't always being reciprocated 100%. So it wasn't in my control, and I decided that was like the most important thing is if I tell somebody we're going to take care of their client, I want to make sure that we're taking care of their client better. So hence I went through the process, got started, and that's how Majestic came to be. So we do cover the entire state. We're only here in Utah. I live in Harriman. So we went through a lot of things trying to figure out what we were going to offer. I've got some calendars back there with just our quick pricing matrix. We do have 3 plans that we offer, our 4, 5, and 6. Yep, there's for everybody. We've got our 3 plans, they're $400, $500, and $600. We've worked really hard to keep our service fee down low, so we still have a $50 service fee that hasn't gone up.
I got a
But-
question.
Okay, go ahead.
Normally I use IBEX and
I love those guys. They're awesome.
so do you do something similar like that? Because you know, people think furnaces cost a lot of money,
Yep,
but really they don't. It's whoever's gonna install them that they jack up the price. So
it is.
if a furnace goes out, usually home warranty companies have like a max that they'll pay, but will it fall within that? Because you'll get a decent one.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna upsell like that whole thing, right?
Right. So let's say they've got an 80% efficient furnace.
Uh-huh.
We're going to install equal equipment, so it'll be an 80%. If they want to upgrade to say like a 95% efficient furnace, we give them that option, and then the homeowner would be responsible for the rest.
Okay,
Um,
but they usually don't pay out of pocket for just replacing what they have.
it depends if they've got like a 95%, you know, efficient furnace.
Uh-huh.
The AC is more where we're gonna see that. Our max payout on an AC or a furnace would be $2,500 each one. So, and that's right in line with the competition.
No, but is that what you could get for it if you buy it? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, so like, I just had a client, they didn't renew, they'd been through a lot of stuff. They had our guy come out, look at it, they were in a big lawsuit with their previous homeowner, you know, there was a lot of stuff that was going on, it was a flip house. They decided they wanted to upgrade their furnace. I'm not 100% sure what they ended up putting in there, but I called my HVAC guy and he's like, hey, you've been out to this house, you've looked at that furnace. If it was a complete replacement, what would that have been? He said $2,500. So
Yeah.
we do so many of them. Sometimes it's only $1,700. They've still got some credit to, you know, if there's other repairs for their HVAC system that has to be done. So, any more questions?
No, but Dan's great.
Thank you.
Yes.
I was gonna say, it was exciting. You guys work together?
Sort of.
Yeah, we've seen each other in a lot of the events and worked together. I was really excited when I got the call from Jeff, and then talking to Brondy. I mean, we think that we're in the real estate industry and we go do as much networking as we can. And I feel like we all get stuck in our own personal loops or ruts. And it was nice to have somebody introduce me into getting into part of their route. Just seeing new faces is, how we grow our business. So we all like referrals. Yeah, real excited. So if you guys have questions, let me know. I've got business cards, brochures, and pens and sticky notes for you guys. So thanks, Dan. Absolutely. All right, Zoomers. Thanks for sticking around. I hope you enjoyed the class. Reach out if I can do anything with you or for you. I'm sure it's okay to share your slide deck if you want that.
Yep.
So take care. See ya.